There's a unique museum where you can find inspiration in every turn you do. I'm talking about the Chihuly Garden and Glass. Every room has like a different experience. You feel like you're learning a little bit about the artist.
The whole place was actually designed by Dale Chihuly, so you get a sense not only for his work as a glass artist, but also his work in so many different mediums. Everything that you see, the flow of the galleries, the fact that nothing is behind barriers, were all his choices. We want to give you really a deep dive not only into Dale Chihuly, the artist, but also to glass blowing as a medium. We have highlight tours that can take you through the whole exhibition. We also offer glassblowing demonstrations with professional artists working every single day to teach our guests about the glassblowing process. If you want to go to a place that is truly awe-inspiring and makes you feel open and welcome to the seasons in a colorful space, this is the place to do it.
The Chihuly Garden and Glass is open all year round, Monday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. I think I got that right. Yes, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You got it. I told you that. I told you that.
I'm Flash Shelton. In 2019, squatters took over my mom's home. The sheriff couldn't get him out, so I did.
He's an anti-squatter activist whose YouTube channel has 115,000 subscribers. Now Flash Shelton has his own TV show on A&E. And he's finding a lot of material here in the Pacific Northwest. Since 2019, squatting cases have surged in Washington.
Yeah, I've dealt with several cases in Seattle. This can happen to anyone and everyone, anywhere in the country and anywhere in the world, because squatters hide as normal, regular people. They don't look homeless. They have good jobs and they have nice cars. They could be your neighbor.
Oh, I can do that.
Speed Walker. Behold, that's Speed Walker, the fictional but familiar superhero of sorts here in Seattle. You might even recognize Bill Nye the Science Guy. Before you knew him as that, he was in sketch comedy right here in Seattle. And perhaps that's why we all have a little more pep in our step the moment the weather turns. Scientists won't officially say this, but the moment the sun comes out here in Seattle, people tend to gain about 12% more speed. Yes, there is legitimate research suggesting that people tend to move faster, feel more energetic, and behave more actively in sunnier or more pleasant weather. It's not unique to Seattle, but Seattle does give you an amplified version because of our contrast and those long gray off seasons. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as behavioral activation. When people feel better emotionally, they tend to move more, socialize more, and engage with the world around them. There is real science connecting sunlight with serotonin and energy levels, so that extra pep in your step might not just be in your mind.
Hi, did you know that there is a live beaver camera that you can watch at all times? 24/7. It's from the Cowlitz Indian tribe and it's brand new and it's adorable. So I wanted to show you really quick this live beaver camera. The Cowlitz Indian tribe announced the launch of their new live stream featuring a young beaver family as it prepares for relocation and release into the wild. They are called Kits. They're 4 baby beavers and they were born on April 16th. Their mother is also there as well. You might be able to capture her too. This opportunity is offered by the tribe's ongoing beaver relocation program, which is the largest of its kind in Washington, one of the largest in the western United States. Pretty cool. Each year, the program relocates about 70 beavers. So time for some cuteness to watch the beavers, maybe as you're working or, I don't know, just at home with your families. So you can head to Cowlitz Indian Tribe on YouTube to watch their live stream.
Hey, have you heard about this door kicking trend? Well, it's been happening throughout the country, and it's happening here in Western Washington, specifically Pierce County, where deputies responded to an incident in Gig Harbor over the weekend.
I hear bang, bang, 5 loud bangs on my front door.
That's the homeowner as he's talking to deputies.
But I don't care if you're pranking or not. People die from pranks.
Yep, 100%.
And it's a good way to not get to be 25.
And those concerns are legit. Last summer in Houston, an 11-year-old boy died after he was shot in the back while running away from a door that he had just knocked. So Pierce County deputies are certainly looking for the person. There could be burglary or vandalism charges, but their whole thing with getting this out there is more about the warning, urging parents to talk to their kids about the consequences of what feels like a harmless prank.
The laundry room back there is actually behind, like, you know, like 2 layers of security. There's a fob you use to get into the room itself, and then to get into the entryway, it's a coded keypad. So someone had to have gotten back there and somehow gotten in, and it's just, I mean, it's really strange.
A roommate of mine walked in from the garage, and she saw the incident in the laundry room, and so she was quite shaken up by that.
One of the 4 University of Idaho students murdered in 2022 has created a new foundation to help others get answers in their murder cases. Kaylee Gonzalez and 3 of her friends were killed in their off-campus home in November of 2022. Their killer, Brian Kohberger, took a plea deal last summer and admitted to the crimes. Investigators used genetic genealogy to connect DNA found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene that connected Kohberger. Kaylee's mom says this new foundation will help pay for forensic DNA testing and investigative genetic genealogy on cases that do not have enough funding. She hopes it will bring answers to grieving families.
Getting that name, this is who did this to your child. This is the person, and we just made an arrest. It's everything.
Law enforcement agencies across the country will be able to apply for this funding.
It's kitten season. Meet Spiffy, my new little love. Scout, tell us what people need to know, how they can help.
Oh, this kitten season, you can come adopt these adorable cats that we're getting out. You can come foster, whether it's cats like Spiffy or little tiny vulnerable kittens, or donate to kitties in need. It keeps the foundation going, keeps the system going, and allows us to say yes to all the kitties and kittens.
Absolutely. Hair party.
Oh, so much hair. It's shedding season.
Julio Rodriguez, Paul, second in batting average right now on the team with 277, third in on-base percentage, 341, second in home runs with 7, and second in doubles with 8. He's not even getting his stolen bases right now at this point, Paul, but when you look at Julio Rodriguez, you have to look at what he is doing in 2026, Paul. Why I get so excited? Are those MVP numbers? If we look at those, are those MVP numbers? No, they are not. But when you look at 2025, 2024, 2023, and 2022, those are numbers that take you out of the MVP ballot. He's in contention, Paul. He's a long way from getting there, but at least look at the improvement we're seeing from Julio Rodriguez. And this gets us excited if you're in Seattle and you've been following this Mariners team, because we know Julio gets hot in July and August. So this is a good sign right here for Mariner fans.
Yeah, so strong, at the plate lately. And he came out of the gate last night in the first inning and just smoked one down the left field line, came within inches of leading that thing off in the first inning for himself. His first hit of the game would have been a home run if it just been a little bit more to the right and hit that foul pole. But he came out strong last night. Again, it was one thing about batting practice. Julio as noted, does not take regular batting practice. So he's not out there all the time taking those cuts before games. But he was last night, and there was a heckler down there in Houston who got into the stadium early and started giving him a hard time when he was going through BP. And he challenged Julio to hit a sign out in left field. There were about 14 signs out there, and they said, and he picked this one sign that says, if you hit that sign, you can have my shoes. So Julio goes, no problem. He accepts the challenge. He smokes one out to left field in BP, hits the sign this guy called him out on, and then the guy said he's a man of his word, and he gave his sandals to Julio, and he took them and put them on the field till he was done with BP. And then after BP, he went and brought the sandals back to the guy, says, here, you can have them. I just wanted to prove a point. So man of his word to give up his shoes, but that's just a little story behind Julio last night.
Agriculture officials are asking the public to be on the lookout for an invasive hornet. A yellow-legged hornet was recently caught on a ship at the Port of Vancouver. It's a highly invasive insect that's wiped out 30% of honeybee hives in Europe. Officials are asking anyone in Vancouver, Washington, and surrounding areas to report these suspected bugs on the Washington State Department of Agriculture website.
Seattle drivers in the Lower Queen Anne Belltown area may have noticed some changes on Denny Way over the weekend. Phase 1 of Mayor Katie Wilson's plan to install a bus lane along Denny Way has been completed, with fresh road paint stretching from Queen Anne Avenue to 2nd Avenue on the eastbound side. A southbound bus lane on Queen Anne Avenue has also been extended to Denny Way.
History was made at the Space Needle this weekend. Mandy Horvath successfully made it all the way up 98 flights of stairs inside the landmark, becoming the first amputee on record to complete that challenge. That climb also marked her 8th world record, by the way. So Horvath is the subject of the documentary The Ascent, which follows her journey to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro while sharing the story of how she overcame the loss of both of her legs. It's a story she told NBC back in 2018 about her successful career as a chef, a few drinks with friends one night, blacking out, and some train tracks. She has since shown just incredible resilience, using the experience to challenge herself, saying that the climbing helps with her PTSD, and helping others is really what gets her through.
The motion fails.
This is a sham.
So that's the moment the North Shore School Board voted to get rid of the single school resource officer in the district. That vote happened earlier tonight, and some parents are not happy about it. The program has been in place at Bothell High School for more than 30 years. Bothell police say the officer has helped teens dealing with abuse in relationships and at home, but opponents argue an armed officer on campus makes some students feel unsafe. The resource officer position will be eliminated starting next school year.
15 of the passengers on the cruise ship that was hit by hantavirus are here in this building. They are staying at the National Quarantine Unit here at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, and they're going to be assessed to determine if they have any symptoms, if they have maybe been in contact with someone who has tested positive, and sort of go through an individualized monitoring for each person to determine their risk and see how they're doing. Now, the medical staff here described the unit as hotel rooms with negative pressure and an elite ventilation system.
With the National Quarantine Unit and the Biocontainment Unit, our teams are evaluating these patients in these more specialized hotel room-like areas for the quarantine unit to really make sure that we understand their risk of exposure, how high risk that might be, and the likelihood that they could potentially develop infection.
There is one person who did test positive for hantavirus, though they are asymptomatic, and that person is staying at the biocontainment unit. Now, that person will continue to be tested and monitored, but again, at this time, they are asymptomatic. Now, there are 2 passengers who went to Emory University, to the biocontainment unit there in Atlanta. And the reason why is because one of those passengers is showing symptoms. And there was a contingency plan in place because there are only 3 biocontainment units here at this facility. And they decided that best thing to do is divide and conquer. And just in case send that person and another passenger to Atlanta so they could have room here in Nebraska in case other passengers tested positive. Now, it is a 42-day monitoring period. The passengers, if they don't show symptoms and don't test positive, could potentially be escorted back home where they would continue checking in daily for monitoring throughout that period, or they can stay here where they'll have a full medical team to address their needs.
Body cam footage shows the moment a canine tracked down a missing 96-year-old man in Lutz, Florida.
Hey, he's right here. Hey, I found him in the woods.
According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, a 96-year-old man was reported as missing and endangered on Saturday. Officials say multiple specialty units were engaged in the search, including a canine named Boomer. Boomer discovered the man in a wooded area near his home.
Find him. We're about a minute out. Good boy. Good boy, Boomer. Good boy, Boomer.
The sheriff's office reported that the man was returned home safely.
I am Jennifer Ott, and we are at the Hiram M. Chittenden Locks in Ballard.
We're here because we just had a new book come out that was basically a reprint or an up-to-date of a previous book that we had done when the canal and the ship and the locks turned 100. We did a book for that, and this is an abridged and sort of tighter version of it. So part of it is that it's the history, but we also include a couple walking tours in it.
A wonderful case of serendipity that David B. Williams and I are both really interested in environmental history of Seattle. And years ago, I think it was about 20 years ago, we met to compare maps. And I love it that he's a person that fully appreciates a good map as much as I do. It's so important to know the history of the locks because it is an integral part of our city's, both our identity and our transportation infrastructure and our culture, just how the city works.
The locks really changed the city. It brought the outside world, the saltwater world, into Seattle. We had always been part of it, but it now came in to take advantage of the freshwater. So it united this whole ecosystem.
One of the big differences with this lock versus other ones in the United States is that this one, the majority of traffic is, by numbers, is recreational vessels. And most locks are for transporting grain and barges. It's something we should value and tend to and understand because it requires ongoing operation. It doesn't just exist, it operates.
To me, it's important to know the place where I live. I like to think it makes me more respectful of this place and the variety of people, the variety of animals, the variety of wildlife.
Hey, featured in Zillow Gone Wild. This is truly a home unlike any we've seen before.
From the outside, it still looks like the First Church of Christ Scientist, a historic landmark built in 1906. But inside, that's what sets this place apart, something few people have seen.
This is the common area for the 12 residences in the building.
They call it the sanctuary now. The townhomes encircle the central atrium, glowing under a stained glass skylight that's been watching over this space for more than a century.
Yeah, I think it's really just an architectural wonder.
That's broker Matthew Pellicini, who says when the congregation moved, developers didn't erase the past, they worked around it.
First is right behind me is this very cool stained glass window that is on a set of rollers that can be opened up.
This 3-bedroom comes with 35-foot ceilings and a personality all its own. The owners leaned into it. Not just a little, a lot.
Just for instance, these dining set, these chairs, and then you'll see candlelit light fixtures. You'll see some very dark areas in some bathrooms. So they've really embraced kind of this Gothic feel.
A snake for a doorknob, artwork that stares back at you, and furniture that feels like it has stories to tell. Some of it, by the way, can stay if the next owner is brave enough. Of course, it's not all old world charm. The kitchen, thoroughly modern with a top-of-the-line Wolf stove. There are 4 floors in all, and like any good story, it unfolds one chapter at a time.
This looks like a bedroom, but it really could be anything, right?
Yes, absolutely. It can be a great space for gathering, great place for reading. So this is the primary suite. We have an attached full bath, which is quite nice, and then a nice secret above the bed here, as you can.
Oh yeah, look at that. The eye of God.
So this is one of my favorite spaces in the residence. It is a hidden whiskey room.
Just what every man wants.
Skeleton keys stored in a treasure chest can be used to unlock sealed cabinets.
Aye, that's the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff.
And there's one more secret.
Behind this bookcase.
A passage, dark, mysterious, and completely on brand.
One more floor.
This is a great space to watch a game, hang out with friends.
And there's one more bedroom with no shortage of storage space. It's not just a home. This place is a sanctuary in every sense of the word.